Now sometimes a chord progression is so beautiful and at the same time so abstract and elusive that the sound of it touches you emotionally straight away. Now one of such elusive and intense chord progressions is that of the song Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead from the album Kid A. It is played on the famous Prophet 5 synthesizer from the 80s and it goes like this. Now, and even though this progression was composed on a keyboard, it can also be played very well on a guitar, which goes something like this. So I wondered, why is this such a beautiful song and what makes it so intense and special? Now the answer lies in several factors that we'll explore in this short tutorial. Namely, the rhythm, the harmony, the lyrics and in particular the placement of certain words within the music. Now it will really inspire you to write your own songs in this way. Now let's first take a look at the chords. Now we have a C major chord, a D flat major chord with some additions, and also an E flat major chord also with some additions. In all three chords the notes C and G continue to ring out, causing the chord names to change to C major, D flat major 7 sharp 11 and E flat 6 or C minor over E flat. And this sounds dark and melancholic, like this. But that is not all. Apart from this unusual choice of chords, which I'll explain in a moment, the rhythm and time signature aren't your typical 4/4 meter either. Firstly, all the chords, apart from the first one, are played syncopated. And this creates movement and also a slightly floating sensation. Furthermore, the time signature is a combination of a 4/4 and 6/4 meter, resulting in 10 beats for one phrase, which is uncommon and hard to count. So we actually have 2 beats too many. And in those 2 extra beats, Thom Yorke keeps playing an arpeggio centered around the notes C and F. And there's a reason for these particular notes too, but we'll come to that in a moment. Now you can also see this as a 5/4 meter, or in this case a 5/2 meter, and this way of counting gives a totally different feeling. Now for the chord progression. There are various ways of looking at this piece, but in my opinion there's only one that is actually correct. But it's still open to debate. Anyway, the song is built with only 4 chords, and that's the C major chord, D flat major chord, the E flat major chord and the F major chord. At first glance you might say it's a progression in C major. In this case the D flat and the E flat would be borrowed chords, and so we're dealing with a modal interchange. And sure, that is possible, but not exactly obvious for someone like Thom Yorke, who has a love for dark and classical influenced songwriting. Now, you could also argue that it is a mode, namely the C Phrygian dominant mode, which is the 5th mode of the harmonic minor scale, by the way. It can also be seen as a Phrygian scale with a major 3rd. But then we are left with the E flat, which doesn't fit this scale and results in a mixture of a Phrygian dominant and standard Phrygian scale. So yeah, it is possible. And the sound fits too, but not necessarily the most obvious choice regarding the songwriter's signature of Thom Yorke. However, a plausible explanation is that Thom Yorke had in mind a simple common Andalusian cadence, which initially does not resolve to the tonic F minor. Now, such a progression consists of a minor tonic, a 7th degree, a 6th degree, and a 5th degree. In F minor, that would be F minor, E flat, D flat, and C major. Now, by reversing the direction to C, D flat, E flat, and constantly looping it, the music creates an ascending, floating, and more important, a unresolving tension. The last possibility is maybe the most simplest one, and maybe that's the way Thom Yorke wrote this song. And that is that Thom Yorke just played a 5th C and G in his right hand with the right hand, and in the left hand he just fooled around with some bass notes and came to the conclusion that the D flat was a very nice tone in combination with the note C and E flat. Then he played 3 major thirds on the note C, on the note D flat, and the note E flat. And his ears led him to the F major chord that felt like a tonic to him. Now, the real power comes when the lyrics set in. The unresolving loop of extended chords resolve to the tonic, and here the lyrical connection becomes profound. So the tension of the C, D flat, and E flat chords heavily reinforce the dark, heavy gravity of F minor that is craved subconsciously in our ears. In other words, our brain is waiting and waiting for a resolution to the tonic F minor. However, the tonic in this song, when it comes, is not an F minor chord, but instead it is an F major chord that creates a serene sense of clearing. And this unexpected major tonic is called a Picardy third and is very, very common in classical music, but also common in pop and rock. And then the lyrical connection. Landing the word everything exactly on that bright major tonic creates a beautiful connection to the title of the song. And that's because the disconnected and dark environment makes place for a peaceful environment with everything in its right place, using that major tonic F major. Then, to lure the listener back into the darkness and confusion, the words right place fall on the start of that unresolved cadence. So we'll never know what the right place exactly will be, right? Which is often the case in real life too.
Everything in its right place, in its right place.
Now maybe I got it all wrong, but I think that strange computer-distorted voice in the beginning of the song represents chaotic scattered syllables of words that are definitely not in the right place and are disordered. And they disappear when the word everything is introduced in the lyrics on that F major chord. Now, and this proves that even the simplest ideas can become masterpieces by connecting lyrics to musical ideas that reinforce each other while adding extra interest in the form of maybe a special rhythm or other subtle ingredients. Now, I hope you got some inspiration from this analysis and that it will help you to write your own poetic songs. Check my Patreon page for more and check my ebook store for ebooks of all kind of intermediate and advanced subjects. And thank you Patreons for your incredible support. I mean, what would I do without you? And thank you all for watching and I see you next time. Bye.